Myths and realities. Why did Cabover trucks disappear in the USA? Going back to the 1970s, American roads were filled with trucks decorated with dazzling cabins, also known as Cabover trucks. These trucks had a unique design, since they have a flat front that was an important part of their appeal. In addition, some of the main automotive manufacturers such as Mack and Freightliner produce this type of vehicle, making them found on any road in the country. The history of truck manufacturing begins before World War II, on the busy coast of the United States. At the time, there were laws that regulated their maximum length. This included various trucks, from cargo trucks to tow trucks. With an estimated length of about 60 feet, this was to maximize their cargo capacity. The manufacturers came up with a plan and design to place the cab over the truck's engine. This means that the space that the engine would occupy would limit the driver's comfort, sacrificing that comfort in order to have more space for cargo. Cabover trucks are a type of truck with a specific design where the cab is placed on top of the engine, instead of being in front of it like in most typical trucks. In this vehicle, the driver is seated closer to the windshield compared to a conventional truck. In addition, the steering wheel is located directly above the engine. This design quickly became popular because it is quite compact and has excellent maneuverability. These details made Cabover trucks perfect for use in urban environments and on very narrow roads. In addition, the ease of maneuvering and turning made them especially suitable for situations that required getting in and out of spaces that were quite small. For example, the narrow streets of some cities and even docks, so Cabover trucks were essential to be able to transport cargo to places like these. Thanks to these characteristics and their demand, the market for these trucks spread to various sectors of the cargo and transportation industry, and they were very useful for various uses. But by 1982, the regulations changed, which meant that the length limitation would only be on the trailer and not the entire truck. Now, because of this change, the cab-over engine design began to lose interest from buyers in most of the United States. After this, trucks with a longer nose, as we know them conventionally, became more common on the roads of Europe and the United States. With these regulations, the new, more elongated cab design began to be adopted in order to optimize driver comfort during their hours of travel. The long hours, which could be from days to weeks on the road, meant that alternatives were created to minimize driver discomfort, because thanks to the increase in the size of the cabin, there would now be a spacious area to sleep comfortably. Now, long trips would be less tiring for drivers. In addition, with this new design, the engine was moved away from the cab, making less noise and vibration perceived from it. Although the manufacture of Cabover trucks was disappearing from the market, their legacy managed to endure in the industry, as other vehicles with this type of design, such as fire trucks and dump trucks, are still operating on the roads. In other countries, despite strict regulations regarding truck length, Cabover trucks are still being adopted due to their great maneuverability and cargo space. As the transition to long-nose trucks became more prominent, drivers had no choice but to use these trucks with this new design. Another point of comparison between both trucks is that the sleeping space offered by Cabover trucks was smaller, and in turn the process to access it was more cumbersome and time-consuming, in addition to being uncomfortable. While long-nose trucks offer more space, more comfort to enter and rest without wasting so much time on it. Also, the practicality of long-nose trucks was considerably striking, as their maintenance is simpler compared to cabovers, since it is only necessary to open the front of the truck, this being more practical and efficient instead of having to completely lift the cab to access the engine, thus saving up to 30 minutes to perform this procedure. Of course, safety considerations regarding the cab play an important role. In Europe, the speed of trucks is limited to about 55 miles per hour, making driving much safer. On the other hand, on other narrower roads, American trucks could travel the road faster, with speeds of 80 miles per hour. This generated great concern in road transport companies, as the safety of their drivers was minimized since Cabover trucks had less protection due to their design. Long-nose trucks, on the other hand, offer drivers an extra layer of safety with a longer, more solid front end. Thanks to this, long-nose trucks gained more popularity in the market. After the decline in their sales, Cabover trucks gradually disappeared in the United States, leaving behind an era of these vehicles that were once quite iconic, with a legacy marked in the American trucking industry. Despite the fact that these trucks are no longer produced in the United States, there are still memories where they were part of American history. There are even people who are dedicated to restoring these trucks. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can continue enjoying more content like this. See you next time.